Systems. It's Paul from Wolf Software Systems, and I'm using Loom again, so I hope this works. Anyway, the reason I'm making this video is really talking about how sometimes we have like laptops and servers and bits and pieces lying around that just sit in the corner and don't do anything. And I want to talk about how WolfStack can help you with that. I really hate computer wastage, and I got my bug with Microsoft. I don't use Microsoft Windows at all, but my big bug is with this whole Windows 11 thing, where they want to come along and basically tell you to uh, to buy a new computer to run Windows 11 because your computer is not good enough. And I think that's horrible, because actually a lot of people's computers are good enough, and that's why one of the reasons people have switched to Linux who've got Windows 10 and gone, well, actually, do you know what? I'm just going to try Linux, and they love it. But this isn't about Linux. So how can WolfStack help you save resources? So we've got three machines sitting in the office. That's this cluster here. So, and actually this one is my laptop. It's actually sitting at home. So I'm actually running WolfStack on my local Linux machine, my Linux laptop. And then I've got, there's one there we use for a big screen. And it's really easy, to waste resources and have computer resources that are sitting there doing nothing. And for instance, here we have, this is a Minio cluster. And, until we put WolfStack on it, and these are very capable machines with lots and lots of disk space and all kinds of things, just running Minio, which we use for kind of backups and stuff. Until we put WolfStack on it, that's all they did. And then when we put WolfStack on it, we were able to do things like run extra Docker containers. In fact, we've got a Wolf Run cluster. Wolf Run is like Kubernetes, so we're running a Wolf Run cluster on it. We're running an extra LXC container. We can see straight away the storage. So what you can do is use WolfStack to hitch all this stuff up together, and these are all on different networks. So that's this cluster's. There's 3 Proxmox clusters here, and they're all, so these are effectively WolfStack clusters now, although they are running Proxmox. I don't really ever log into the Proxmox front end anymore. I just use this because I can get to everything I can get to on Proxmox pretty much. But I can run Docker on it, and I can run LXCs, and I've suddenly, this old hardware or this hardware that isn't so great becomes useful, because you can use Wolf Disk to share. So on this one we have Wolf Display's got quite a nice disk on it. In fact, we're getting a Raspberry Pi in on Monday, and I'm going to use that with, I've found a lot of piles of SSDs and things. I've got 2 or 3 external SSDs, and I've got a couple of 1 terabyte NVMe externals. And I just thought, we'll stick WolfStack on a Raspberry Pi, set up Wolf Disk, and I can access it from anywhere, So suddenly using WolfStack, not only can you cluster servers together, so it's great for home labs, so it's great for other things, but you can actually plumb your local machine onto your WolfStack cluster, even if it's remote, using WolfNet as a tool for doing it. So there's this WolfNet layer, which basically, when you install WolfStack, rather than the usual fiddling around you have to do to set up a virtual private network, i.e. not a real network, but a virtual network, with WolfStack, it just does it for you. You just get on and do it. And then it's really easy to hook up machines and do routing. And if you're just learning about hosting servers, it takes away a lot of the configuration. So we've just launched a new thing with, let's take this one here. So if I go to, this is a container, I know it's got Wolf Proxy on it. It's really easy just to set up websites on Wolf Proxy. So you can see that's the thing. But when you add a new site, it actually asks you some questions, and it'll create all the proxying stuff. And the same with Apache and web servers and things like that. And we're going to be enhancing that as time goes on. And obviously we've got this app store as well. So you can take a machine that you're not doing anything with, or has got hardly anything running on it, and actually make it useful. Actually add some extra things onto it and run some extra stuff on it and make use of all that extra stuff. So if you've got an old laptop, we've got, let me see, which one is it? It's this one. This one is actually a pretty high-powered laptop with a graphics card in it, and we run something called CodeWolf on it. But most of the time, it just sits there and doesn't really do anything. So we can stick some LXC containers on there really easily. So this is a real cool thing. So get WolfStack, stick it on a Linux machine. If you've got more Linux machines, just add them on as nodes to to a cluster, and they don't have to be on the same network. They could be remote, as long as the as you have you can use Dyn DNS and things like that. It's on. If you go to the WolfStack website, okay, wolfstack.org, and this is the website, you'll see that it's got all the details of WolfStack, but there's also things like WolfStack Scale, which we did to do database clustering in a bit of a different way. Wolf Disk, which is our disk sharing tools built into WolfStack. WolfNet, WolfServe, Wolf Proxy. Have a look at those, and they're quite useful tools. But WolfStack is our main product, and you can use that to actually cluster machines together, and we don't really care what they are. So we're just going to be doing some more confirmation of Raspberry Pis, but you could have 5 Raspberry Pis all as part of a WolfStack setup. You could get some old servers and bash them together. You could have 2 old servers and a laptop. We don't really care. I want to enable people to cluster server to use computer resources that that maybe Windows users would have thrown away, and Microsoft would have said no, you can't run that on there. We want, because we can run Linux on a lot of things. We don't really care about the flavor of Linux too much. If you do get any problems, to post on our Reddit or something. So yeah, and please support our Patreon or talk to us about enterprise licensing if you're thinking about that. But do have a look at WolfStack, wolfstack.org. If you're a YouTuber or something like that, and you want to feature it and talk to us about it, we'd be really grateful and be very happy to do interviews and things like that, because it is kind of taking off. Anyway, so I'm going to try and stop this now. Okay, thanks very much.